All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the towers that we call Cardcast over here. We lighten the load up a little bit. We have a little more breathing room, and which is good. And I'm excited. So a little bit of a different video today. I have some cards that I'm going to be sending into SGC. Some really nice vintage cards, including pre-war. I got some Hall of Fame stuff. It's gonna be fun to look at. I'm also going to do, kind of like a guess the grade. So I would give you what I think the cards are going to come back at. And when we get them back in, I'll keep the sheet so we can kind of go over to see how good or bad I did. Also have a little bit of a mail day. 2 cards, but really, really cool stuff. And I can't wait to show it to you guys. So let's get this thing done. Okay. Alrighty, off-centered Leonard here. Going to show off some stuff. So this card, I recently picked up in a collection, and I happened to pull it out. This is a really nice centered high number of Nolan Ryan. And I don't think the corners are strong enough to get a 6. But you never know. So I'm going to put it as a 5 because I'm shooting lower this time in hopes that that either I'll be surprised with a higher grade or I'll be right on, because I feel like I come in like a grade high and usually get a little disappointed. Here is a 71 to 73 Scotty Bowman. It's an OPG test issue. I don't know what the deal is with these. I don't know if it's going to get into a holder. If it does, I mean, the card stock is right. It feels vintage. It has like the classic OPG like grains in the back, but it has like if you're familiar with the 74 to 70, was it 76 top supers, they're not glossy, but it's kind of got that paper stock to the front. So I'm gonna guess if it gets a numeric grade that it's gonna come back a 7, which would be interesting. Here we have some stunning, and I'm just going to take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 1933 Goudey Indians. And look at those colors, how they just pop. I mean, it almost looks like a reprint. They are not reprints, I promise you. It's got a little something going on up there. And there's a little issue down in the lower left-hand corner. I'm going to grade hard. We're going technical grades here. So I'm going to go 3.5 on this card. So we'll put Captain Jack up here. Going to get me a little high tonight. And then, I hope I'm saying this right, Anoje Nahe. Anyways, this card's got, a little bit of a soft corner. But the centering is really nice. The surfaces are, just really clean. And I'm going to call this one a 5. I think this one can X. So that would be very, very cool. But just look how nice they look. Here we have Joseph Bryant. Again, a very nicely centered card. I mean, we'd kill to have the centering and coloring in, in the baseball cards. But here we go. So very, very nice. So Joseph Bryant, I also have as a 5. Very interesting to get these back. We're like almost running out of room here, but that's okay. Here we have Pontiac. He builds excitement. Oh, sorry. Pontiac is I have him also down as a 5. Just enough as a 5, but yeah. And then we have Conquering Bear. I mean, look how solid that red is. Insane. I picked these up like, I think December Philly show. Someone had them on their table. Got a pretty good deal on it. Like, really good deal on them. And so Conquering Bear, I'm also going to put in as a 5. Here we have American Horse. An American Horse I have as a 3.5 coming back. I think it's pretty heavily dinged over here. I don't know if you could see that, but again, look at the colors on this. and the centering and the registration. I mean, really not. I mean, like, how could you not like these? Here we have Buffalo Bill. And this one's a little, this is going to be like a nice presentation, low technical grade. So I'm going to put this in at a 2.5. It's got a little stain there, might 2, but I'm going to say 2.5. We'll see what happens with that. So Buffalo Billsies. Now we got Blackhawk. And Blackhawk had an issue, I think, again, he had an issue with the lower left, where there's like not a crease, but there's definitely like a heavy ding there. But other than that, man, look at, I mean, it actually has like a sharp corner. 33 Goudey with a sharp corner. So that might be my phone just, coming in, but I promise you it's not blurry, just my eyes. Maybe it's my eyes. Anyways, so I got that. Blackhawk coming in at 3. I think that's going to be a low technical grade, high presentation, but we'll see. Here, I'm breaking into more sports here. So we have a 74 Topps Mike Schmidt that is really clean, except for there's a little bit of an issue with the surface. But man, when you look at the centering, I love this card because of a lot of focus there. I love this card because of the fact that it's his first single card. You have your 73 Topps high number with Ron Say and Dave Hilton. Dave Milton? Hilton? I can't remember. But anyways, Padres guy. And but anyways, I'm calling this a 5. I would love to get a 6 on this. But great colors, good registration, strong, borders and edges and corners. But something tells me I'm going to get back a 5, and I'm not going to get a 6 on that. But that's okay. I really enjoy that card. It's going to be a PC card more than likely. We got Andre the Giant Provolone. Okay, this card, I don't have a lot of experience grading Parkies. So Parkhurst, 6162. It's got a little age toning at the top, and I don't know if this was like an actual like rub off with a coin and it happened, or what they do with the grading as far as that. But I think that I think it's going to 4, and would love to get anything higher than that. So we'll see. Put you over here. Let me just double up. This is a cool card. This came out of a collection not too long ago that I bought. Big hockey collection. Not a lot of vintage, but just enough of vintage. And this is a 64, 65 Topps. Bobby Hull, Hall of Famer. Blackhawks. As you can see, there's very little to the right of this border. But overall, it's a sharp card. It's got a little issue with the ding up there. I'm going to say the Hull's going to come back a 4.5. Would love to get a 5 on it. Look at the back. It's got, this was like the Topps. It was printed in, I'm sorry, this is OP. Well, they're printed in Canada, but if I'm not mistaken, the 60s, like pre-68 Canada stamp cards are actually Topps cards. Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody knows, please let me know. But what I love about this card, so this came on 64, 65. Now, I'm not sending this in for grading, but this, and I've been falling in love with these for the non-sports, this is a 61 Topps Cars. Okay, so they're the same height, okay, same width. And when you look at the backs, this is like the American version. See how the backs are very similar? So photo, information. So I am digging that, and I have tons of these cards. I have been buying them up at shows or online. I'll buy some lots, and I'm working on several sets in condition. But I love these cards. I think they're great, and I think it's a fun way to experience classic American, or just classic cars in general, because they're not just American cars, but it's definitely cool stuff. Here we have a 84-85 Chris Chelios. There it is. Really nicely centered. What do I have? Oh, so the whole have 4.5. The Chelios, I'm thinking it's going to come back a 7. So we'll see. 7 on Chelios. Now we have Grant Fuhr rookie. And the centering on that is really nice too. I'm trying to get it focused here. Can we get it? It's close enough. Clean, nicely centered. I'm going to call it a 7.5. I'm grading hard here. I'm not just going to go, oh, that's an 8, that's a 9. Like, I'm really, you know, I know there's things when I looked at this when I was like, okay, that corner, this, you know. So here's a 82, 83 Peach, I'm sorry, 83, 84 Peachy Gretzky. I'm going to call this an 8. We're playing for an 8. The back's got me a little concerned because there's like the graining of the Peachiness. And I'm assuming that they're not going to take away from that. Just the focus is killing me on here. But, so we're going to cover up Nolan Ryan with the great one. Now, these cards right here they're not consignment. There's a chance I'll be able to buy some of them. I don't know if there's going to be an issue with, not an issue, but like, these are coming from my friend Kevin. And he has got a savage in-person signed baseball collection that will most likely end up buying. I still have to price it out. It may come in a consignment. Either way, these are options that I give people when they do business with me. We're going to try to figure out the best way that makes sense for both of us. And that's the nice thing about being able to put some time into it and not have to worry about an egg timer. So so anyway, so he gave me these to send off for grading. I went to his house the other day and I picked out these that I think should go in for grading. Now, these were in holders. They were in, there's this Seaver and there's a Johnny Bench 69 that, and I don't know if you can see this, but there's like let me get the glare out. So there's a little bit of a rough cut edge over here. And, I don't know how much they're going to take away from that. I'm going to shoot low and say, if I remember correctly, this was okay. Well, I'm going to say it's going to come back a 5. I'm hoping it's not going to come back a 4 or 4.5, but we're going to call this a 5. It's a very clean 5. I mean, just gorgeous. The only downside is I'm hoping that we don't get dinged for having them in screw downs that were not recessed. So hopefully they didn't go too flat. But I think they'll get the numeric grades that they deserve. So here's a nice sharp bench. If I can get it into focus here, there it is. So this is really nice. It's just too bad the centering isn't there, but I think this is going to come back a 6. I don't think there's enough border on the bottom for it to come back a 7, but this is overall a really nice card. I definitely would call this X Mint. I would call this near mint in the raw if I was selling that in a showcase, but I think the technical, X Mint and near mint. So I think the technical grade is going to be a 6. Hopefully it goes for a little higher. This Billy Ripken F-Face, it's got a little bit of a rough cut edge over here, just a tiny bit. Otherwise, really nice. Slightly off center top to bottom. Classic card from when we were kids. I think it's going to come back a 7. So we're going to send it in. We'll see what we get. Hopefully at 8s, but I think it's going to come back a 7. This Ripken, there's another one. I think this is going to come back an 8.5. So it's pretty sharp. We'll hope at 9s, maybe for a higher grade. I don't think the corners are there for a 10, but hopefully we hit that 8.5, 9. Here's a really nice. It's going to be a high presentation, probably lower to mid tech grade Stamusial. It's a little diamond cut. So the border it's like kind of fatter up here and runs here, and then it's a little bit of thickness, more thickness up on this border. But look at the blue though. Look at that blue. And the surface is really nice. So I'm calling Musial. I'm going to say 4.5. We obviously hope for higher, so VGX plus. We'll see what happens. I don't know what they're going to do with the diamond cut. I mean, it's not over the top diamond cut or MC miscut, but we'll see. Here we got the Mick. So really nice card. This was the bargain card back in the day. This was probably triple printed. But you saw this card in the 80s and you wanted a card from the 80s, 90s. If you wanted a card of Mickey Mantle, these were extremely affordable. But you gotta love that solid background. I mean, you know, just all the colors, the yellows, the reds, and then you just got the Mick doing his thing. Back is, you know, back and front is off-centered, top, bottom. Little OC left to right too, but just, you know, nice card. Now, it does have, after I pulled it out of the screw down, or the case that it was in, it's got 2 tiny surface wrinkles in there. We're going to call this a 3. I'm going to give that a hard tech grade of a 3. Now, we got a 75 Topps Mini, blistering. Let's see if I could get it in here. Yeah, there it is. 75 Topps Mini, centered, sharp. It's good. Ever so slight tiny, you know, I'm going to call it an 8. We hope for higher, but I think it's going to come back an 8. So we'll just take a quick look at the background here. This is why this is why we don't hold the cards in the raw. We get them in the holders first, but we're going to hope to get an 8 on that. Now, we got the mail day. So, first off, we got a 1949 Bowman signed Johnny Vandermeer. I just picked this up. It was just listed. I had you know, Johnny Vandermeer signed cards on a on my watch list, and I get notified when every time that, you know, one comes up. This was to my liking. Seemed to be a very fair price. Back-to-back no-hitters. Reds all-time fan favorite. Probably Reds Hall of Fame if I had to guess. We do have paper loss on the back because it was probably taped into a book. But I'm going to probably throw this in a PSA holder. And just because I would like to have it in a holder. And it's going to go in my Reds collection, my Red sign collection. It's my... I had a nicer Johnny Vandermeer that I sold a couple years ago. If I had known I was going to do a more deep dive into the Reds, I would have kept it. But that's okay. You never know. That one might come back up again, and I'll also have this too. I think the 49 Bowmans are really, really cool with the limited amount of color that they were offering. But I do enjoy these, so that's going to go in the PC. And last but not least, we have some Ruth action. Now, I had recently seen one of Brett's videos. Sorry, it was when Brent was part of the Brent Richards. He was part of the Cardboard and Coal ones, probably one of the first ones I saw, and he was talking about this card, and he was 100% right. This card still has a lot of ceiling. Now, I bought the card, you're like, hey, off-centered Leonard, why are you buying centered cards? Well, my answer to that is just shut up. No, I'm kidding. Listen, I enjoy the idea of getting something nicely centered. It does have that marker, not marker, but like the mark from the whatever that gets rubbed off on the surface. We got a VGX4, but my God, dead centered. And this is the one I wanted. Came up on eBay. Wow, where's the focusing on this? So when you talk about playing days Ruths versus non-playing days, I mean, I would put this up with any, as far as the way it looks. I think Brent said the same thing. I would put this up with, I don't know why it keeps going in and out of focus there, but I would put this up with any playing days Ruth as far as the way it looks. And we're going to just do this on camera here. Pull this out because I don't really... We want to know, did Babe hit 60? Yes, he did hit 60. So even the back of the card in that newspaper Sun Times style is just really, really cool. So, but yeah, as far as the playing days, as far as looks wise, I'll put this up with any playing days that are out there. I think that as time moves on, the fact that Ruth passed away in, I think, 1949, if I'm not mistaken. This came out in 54. I just think the artistic rendition of this is great with Yankee Stadium in the background. And I just think it captures Ruth probably at his best. So, that's my thoughts on that. So, and I think that there's a ceiling for these to go up. I've been buying and selling these cards for the last probably 15 years. You were able to get low grade copies for $30 back in like 2000. And I got a whole video of it too. I'll post that because I have screenshots of my showcases back in 2014. So that's going to be a video that's going to come up. So, and I have these in there in the raw. I think I have them at 75 and $100 because I was buying them on eBay for 30 to 40, but we'll get into that then. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. This weekend, I'm going to be, where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Enfield at the top of the state of Connecticut. So if you're in the Massachusetts, Connecticut area, please stop by. 2 floors worth of shows. Definitely 2 floors of a show full of dealers. Definitely worth coming out and checking out. And then the next day, Sunday, I'll be in Orange. So if you're in Southern Connecticut or, on the New York border, definitely worth coming and check me out there too. So we'll see you then. Thanks for checking it out, guys. We'll talk to you later.